Good morning. This is Josh Hayes with Hedge Plus, and here is the market monitor for Thursday, July 24th. Believe it or not, there are positive things happening with the markets. We're just in that time of year where the world is just certainly not short of supply. We've got plenty of product coming to market, both here and abroad. Ours obviously coming to market in a couple months, but it's frustrating to see trade deal announcements not move the markets. I do blame that somewhat on the lack of specifics in the deals. Obviously, you saw with Japan, the deal there, Japan's automakers, their stocks shot up because a very specific part of that deal would be that there would be exemptions on Japanese automakers on their imports to the U.S. Those kinds of specifics just aren't quite there for agriculture. We know that Japan is a major buyer of agriculture. We know that they were our second largest purchaser of corns and a major buyer of soybeans as well. So the fact that the deal is struck with them is positive. It means that we'll continue to sell to them. And yes, there probably will be an increase in purchases. But without knowing, it's going to take some time for the market to react. This is another one of those underlying things that's happening that will show up at the end of the marketing year. It'll show up in strong exports. We have a weak dollar that continues. That's going to continue to help rack up the sales. We also have very competitive prices right now, especially for wheat. That's going to show up. Even in a down week with ethanol production, where we were down versus the previous week and even down versus last year, the amount of corn used in production was still well above the amount needed to meet the USDA marketing year forecast. We're going to have weeks where we have great ethanol numbers that are going to drive that even higher, and there's every bit the possibility that we'll even still have the USDA have to adjust their numbers once again. Right now, I put out the alert yesterday that really it appears as though the only thing that's going to maybe interject itself into this slow drip down, aside from weather, we could definitely get weather. We know what that's capable of doing, and we might even be seeing a little of that tonight. I'll get to that in a moment. But the one predictable event that we could get that would truly drive the markets would be some kind of a major announcement with China. The problem with that is that while the U.S. and Chinese trade delegations are meeting next week in Sweden, it's becoming more and more likely that a deal will require Trump and Xi to meet together, and that's now being pitched for late summer or even in the fall. So as you can see with these other trade deals getting announced where the tariff levels are set, but the rest of the details are worked out later, it sets up for a strong possibility and we're going to follow the same pattern with China. And that incrementally parts of this deal will get done, but the full picture won't come together possibly for months. And what that means is, unfortunately, instead of getting major bounces, the type of bounces that a weather threat can give you immediately, we'll probably see this spread over time, and perhaps will require adjustments like we saw in January by the USDA, and where carryout is lowered on strong demand and strong usage with things like ethanol and obviously demand through trade. So that's the unfortunate part. There are other things happening. We're definitely having very warm overnight lows here in Wisconsin. Walked outside and I felt like I was in Florida this morning. So that's got us up a little bit on the overnight with the hot weather. We'll have to take a look and see what kind of the rainfall this humidity generates. But they're also In the wheat quality tour, they're seeing some issues in North Dakota. Some parts of North Dakota coming in way below expectations and way below last year. Also seeing a little bit of flooding in Russia affecting their wheat market. And we'll see if it carries into the day. Oftentimes, overnight trade is not reflective of the main day session, but as of right now, we are up across the board. Taking a look at the weather, upper Midwest gets heavy rain and heat so far. That's set to take place here in the next few days. The heat is here now. We'll see if the rain matches. If the rain dissipates or is disappointing versus what's forecast, we'll get a little bit of a bounce. In fact, we might be seeing a little of that right now. In Brazil, they are set to get some more rain, typically dry this time of year, so it could slow their harvest a little bit. Once again, it's not expected to slow it down too much, and that rain is actually helpful for their wheat development right now. In the Philippines, they're having major flooding that's damaging their corn crop. That's something to keep an eye on. As much as they produce, they still import a lot more. And if there is significant damage to their crop, they're going to obviously have to import even more. And in Russia, the south is dry, needs more rain. I believe the flooding I was seeing from overnight was more in the northern region, but it's become an issue there. It's been very dry in the southern regions in Russia, and it is starting to impact yields. And their production and numbers in some places are coming in well below our initial estimates, so also helpful for the wheat market. Taking a look at international cash prices, here's what I was referring to with wheat, $224.30 per metric ton from the U.S. You've got Australia, almost $40 higher, $35 higher. Russia, nearly $20 higher. Black Sea, $9 higher. So we are the most competitively priced wheat on the market right now. You combine that with a weakened dollar, and you should see really strong export numbers here in the near term, and we've had them to date. So this is all happening. It's not something the market is truly reacting to, but these numbers will show up at some point. As far as corn and beans, very competitively priced. Argentina is still a little bit lower, but remember, this is a heck of a lot better than where we were about a month ago when Argentina was dipping below 190, and we were on the fast drive down to meet them there. So both countries have been elevated quite a bit, and Brazil still higher than both the U.S. and Argentina prices, and that is due to both their own domestic demand and their own difficulties getting their safrinha crop harvested. So we talk about that rain that's coming. If that were to become a larger event or last longer, they'd be right back to falling behind. And I think that's leading to some more commercial purchases from the U.S. right now, and that's been helpful for prices. So the one risk there is that all of the marketing year lows that we typically would see in August, they might be pushed back a little bit. So if what's coming out of Brazil is slow to market, and it leads to commercial buyers who had bought ahead thinking that they'd have enough to get to this point when Brazil would come to market. If they're running short and they're buying from the U.S. a little bit, that might delay things, but it could also mean that once Brazil's massive crop comes to market, that we'll have a glut at a time a little bit later in the season. So that's something we'll have to watch out for. And we talked about this on the Grain Gauntlet yesterday, that we might see the low for the year come in maybe a little bit later this year, maybe get into September, mid-September range. And then with soybeans as well, you can see very competitively priced, just about $4 higher than the lowest priced soybeans that are coming out of Argentina. So these are all positive signs. We know about our quality. So to be priced this competitively, if not even the lowest, these are all numbers that are going to show up in stronger exports in the weeks to come. Finally, taking a look at overnight prices as of 5:25 a.m. We are up across the board. Corn up about 3, beans up about nearly 5, and wheat up nearly 5 as well. Talked about some of the issues we're seeing with wheat, both in the tour in North Dakota and Russia. We're very competitively priced, so that's very helpful as well. Should lead to some strong sales. Corn and beans, while you would like to see more of a bounce from these trade deals, at least unlike yesterday, the markets are up overnight. And we'll see where we go from there. Relative to the last market monitor on Tuesday morning, so about 48 hours ago, with these prices where they're at right now, corn up about 2 in the last 48 hours, soybeans up about 2 as well, and wheat up about 6. That's all for today. Tomorrow we'll have Jason's Feedlot Focus with his outlook on the cattle and hog markets. And then we'll see you all again next week.